South Korean Parliament convened its first parliamentary audit session of the Yoon administration this week. The committee that appears to be getting the most attention is the one for foreign affairs. So what's going on with the country's foreign policy and what lies ahead regarding the many important decisions President Yoon has to make in the near future? We have Professor Ku-youn, Assistant Professor of Political Science at Kangwon National University with us this morning. Good morning, Professor.
Good morning. How are you?
So first, the South Korean government is making efforts to repair the bilateral relationship with Japan. We saw a trilateral joint military exercise happen in the EC just last week, which included the U.S. How do you see the relationship unfolding going forward? Is the current administration approaching it correctly?
Well, improving relationship with Japan is important not only because we share problems in Northeast Asia, such as responding to North Korea's provocation in a timely manner, but also we share interest in maintaining rules-based order in the Indo-Pacific. And President Yoon emphasized this fact that South Korea's expansive role in the world since beginning of its presidential campaign. I believe repairing relationship with Japan is the first step to that end. So we'll be observing more of these activities like trilateral military exercise, and now we are actually joining this quadrilateral drills in Philippines with the U.S., Japan, and Philippines as well. So I think we are in the right directions, and we'll be seeing South Korea participate in more of these regional activities in the future.
Right. Now we're talking about regional activities. The new government has continuously talked about playing a greater role in global affairs in general. And we just saw the EU slapping Russia with additional sanctions over its war with Ukraine. But we haven't heard much about South Korea joining in with additional sanctions. Should South Korea be doing more to join other countries in sanctioning Russia?
Well, as the war in Ukraine is predicted to last at least until the end of this year, so I think international community should show more united standing against Russia, more so as it attempts to conduct a nuclear coercion these days. And underlying assumption is that this is not just a European issue, but the entire world's security is at risk. So sanction could be one of those instruments that international community can adopt. But at the same time, South Korea needs to be more aware of these sanctions and employing and renewing the sanctions and exploring how international community is working on this issue, as South Korea's economy might be at risk for avoiding this sanction as well. And much broader implication could be by standing with European partners on this issue, South Korea could expand its diplomatic leverage in Northeast Asia as well. Given North Korea is tactically aligning with China and Russia at this moment, South Korea needs to expand its diplomatic alignment in and out of Northeast Asia.
Right, and there also has been criticism from the opposition party that the South Korean government didn't preemptively act against the U.S. Inflation Reduction Act due to its negative effects on South Korean automakers. How have other countries managed the situation? Now, a lot of other countries are subject to some of the negativities from the Inflation Reduction Act. Also, was there really a way for South Korean government to know what was going to happen?
Well, given the U.S. is now in the election cycle, midterm elections in November, and Democratic Party attempts to provide more of these policies and legislature that could attract more of their voters, given that lower approval rating of President Biden. So it must have been very difficult for any other countries, including South Korea, to respond preemptively, and this IRA is not an exception. And South Korea's response was not that later and actually much faster than any other countries in the world as well. So it is not an issue whether it was preemptively possible to respond or not, but now we have more time to respond before it becomes effective. And we need to think about how we can respond and manage it and reduce the kind of side effect and issues that might affect our companies investing in the United States.
Right, well, thank you again for your insights. I know it's a wide range of topics, but your insights were very helpful. Thank you, and have a good rest of your day.
You too.